why women want this type of intimacy. In this video, I'm going to break down exact reasons why women want a certain type of intimacy, what it means, and actually a real study that has been done in regard to this, and break down that study for you in this video so you men will be able to know what type of intimacy that you want and you'll be able to rock her world. Hi guys, my name is Apollonia Ponti, and I'm a dating, relationship, and life coach for you men, not only to master your attraction skills with women, but also your life in general and your relationships. Now let's dive in. So women want time before sex, okay? And I think it's really important to understand that women need their emotional triggers to be pulled before they're going to be intimate with a man. Short-term, long-term marriage, long-term relationship, doesn't matter. And so women start to get turned on emotionally by the things that you do for them, by how you show up, how you're acting. So polarity plays a huge role in intimacy. And what polarity is really about focusing on understanding masculine and feminine energy. A man doesn't have to always be in his masculine. He should be more in his masculine for a woman that wants to be more in her feminine. And so what happens here is polarity plays a huge role and communication plays a big part in a long-term intimacy. And long-term intimacy is about how much time you're spending together before sex, what you're doing before that type of intimacy. So for example, if you're not in a relationship and you're dating women, do you think that being this nice guy and paying her all these compliments is going to get a woman in bed with you? Possibly not. More than likely, no. But what will get a woman in bed with you and wanting her to be more with you is giving her an experience. And so when we say an experience, what creates an experience for you? You remember things, you have a great time, you share something. It's a feeling that is created that ignites you to want to be with this person or see them again, right? So then how do we create a feeling? Well, we create it by conversing, humor, flirting, deeper conversations, body language, engagement, everything that you're going to find here in this channel. And so when we do a deeper role in that, it's really about who you are and who you stand firm in and who you are as a man, owning that masculine presence. And before we dive into the case study that I'm going to really dive into and tell you about the intimacy and dissect it, I'm going to have a video in the Watch Next playlist about polarity and masculine energy and feminine energy that I think will really help you when it comes to your intimacy with women. So now let's dive into this study that I find really, actually it took me away and I was like, this makes a lot of sense. So in 2010, there was a study by two psychologists, Dr. Karen Sims and Dr. Martha Miana, and they suggested that there's distance between two people, right? When there's distance that happens between two people, it can also trigger sexual desires. So what happens here, it links between separation and the construct of desire. And so you start to view one another and want to desire them as you wish for something from them. So maybe, for example, people want connection. People want someone to be there. People want quality time. People want physical touch. So they're going to start to long for it when you create that balance. And so that's why I say attraction is a pacing process. So also that's where we come into we wanting something, that motto or that saying that says you always want what you can't have, is because we always think that something is currently unattainable. When we think it's unattainable, we desire it more because it's kind of like we think that it's an unknown feeling, right? So when you're thinking of sexual desire, I want you to know that withdrawal can also sharpen it. Abstinence can sharpen it. And being stimulated to fantasies can sharpen it, like they say, and hope and promise, right? So for examples, a healthy hope can be a woman and you talking about the future and what it could be like, potentially you being really ignited by you and her being in on a date, and you start to escalate and flirting, talking about fantasies, talking about sexual desire, and then you withdraw and she doesn't see you for 3 or 4 days. It can stimulate the both of you to really want to be together. And also too, by a psychotherapist, which I love, her name is Esther Perel. And her view, what she talks about is she says, desire thrives in otherness. So this is defined as the space between the self and the other that is allowed for the other person to be unknown to one another, kind of like this novelty, this unexpectedness for some type of surprise, right? So I'm going to break it down in dating, long-term relationship, and marriage. So in dating, some type of surprise can be courting her, leading the dating process. Pacing is a root of attraction, which I talk about so much in this video. And this is where, because it gives us the space to miss someone, right? It gives us the space to become mysterious, some of us will call it, right? But also you're not missing track of your goals. You're committed. If she wants to see you on Friday, you're not going to cancel your soccer practice to see it. You're going to be like, I can't have soccer, but let's do it on Saturday, right? You are giving some type of novelty to yourself, so she will see this as well. And then in long-term relationships, the same thing happens with friends. You have some friends that you do. You have sports activities that you do. You have things that you do in your own life, so you're in your own otherness, we should say. And so with that said, I thought it was really important too in marriages to understand that when marriages and intimacy thrives, the same thing happens, right? It's not that you're living separate lives or anything, but you have an existence of your own oneness. And that's the relationship that you carry and embody with yourself. And you come together as a partnership, but your relationship with yourself, your morning meditations, you're reading a book, you're spending your me time for yourself as well. So I want you to know that they conducted also too some interviews that I thought were really impressive. So they asked 19 married women who had lost desire in their marriage, and asked what were the attributes that happened in their marriage that they lost sexual interests or sexual desire, and what barriers that they perceived that were blocking them from having more sexual desire. And there was 3 core themes that came up from these women. And the 3 core themes that came up, which really I thought was a great study, was one was institutionalizing of the relationship. So I think that this means basically, this is how they say it, but what I'm saying as institutionalizing this of the relationship, meaning like they are just maybe on different terms, maybe on different headspaces, right? Like that someone wants something different in the relationship, the other person wants the other one in the relationship. Maybe one wants more of an open marriage. Maybe everything is also embodied in this relationship and they don't have any outer worlds together. They are not creating spontaneity. They're not creating activities. It's just like this bubble that they live in. The second one is over familiarity, meaning like there's nothing new. It's just boring and it's the same old routine over and over. And then the third one is desexualizing the roles in the relationship, which I thought was really good. And I think this is the most prominent one, is number 3, especially in long-term relationships, is when polarity doesn't exist. Remember, men, in order to entice a woman's desire for you and her sexual needs or warrants for you in a relationship, what she's going to want is to always feel mentally stimulated by you, and you should want the same from your woman. And so long-term, how do you mentally stimulate someone, you may ask? Well, it's in how you approach your day-to-day life. Women need time before sex, I talked about in the beginning of this video, right? So the type of intimacy that they want is they want the mental foreplay. And I talk about mental foreplay so much in my free training video all about mastering the bedroom. I'm going to link that below and it's completely free. Just sign up for it and you'll understand a little bit more of what I'm talking about when it comes to mental foreplay. Because women will give you, have you ever been intimate with a woman, maybe in a longer relationship, a couple months relationship, and you notice one intimacy was great when you had sex with her that month, it was great, but then there was this one time you had sex with her and it was phenomenal, and your relationship was just doing great. Maybe you were better connected, right? I know a lot of you know what that feels like when you've been there. And so what happens is when 2 people and 2 humans can bond in their, what Esther Perel talks about, and her and otherness, what's really important here is that you focus on how to create this bond together and continue to create it and enhance each other and not just become stagnant in a relationship and take it for granted. Yes, things happen in relationships where things become routine. Don't get scared of that. Find the beauty in that, but don't stay there too long, because women and you deserve deeper connection. The reason why women want deeper connection and you're going to get greater results in intimacy is because you understand polarity, you understand the energies, and also communication is key to better sex, guys. So go ahead and click that link below to get access to my free training video. And if you haven't already yet, I want you to take the time to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification for every time I post a new video on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And also, I have a video right over here for you, the secret desires that women love, and what mistakes to not make when it comes to the bedroom. And I'll have that over here on the Watch Next playlist as well. As always, I'll see you in the next video, and remember, you are always loved. Bye for now.